Hello and welcome. This is CEO's Talk Business at The Marina Today. My name is Hope, and for today we'll be speaking with the Chairman CEO, Integrated Oil and Gas Company. He's Captain Emmanuel Iheanacho. He'll be telling us how far gone they are with the Modular Refinery Project. Captain Iheanacho, you're welcome on the program.
Thank you. It's nice to talk to you once again.
Thank you too. Now, we know you've been on with the Modular Refinery Project for some time now. I don't know, is it up to 3-4 years?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We've been at it for 3, maybe 4 years.
Okay.
And it has been a period where we have been concentrating on making sure we do it the right way.
Okay.
And there hasn't been any major stoppages.
Okay.
So if there's been any thoughts that it takes 2 years to develop the plans for a refinery, to find funding for it, to acquire all the necessary approvals, to deal with all the community issues, to deal with land issues. I think that our experience proves that 2 years is absolutely very optimistic. Oh. It isn't realistic. It's not just us. Okay. I think that you have to look at those who are doing even bigger refineries and when they started and how long they've been at it. So on average, people are at it for about 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So that's our experience. And I would like to say to you that we are continuing and we are hoping to reach a significant milestone in a couple of months, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Now, you said there hadn't been any hitches. Has it been very good with funding, financing?
Well, I mean, refineries are not cheap investments, depending on the size that you are contemplating. So if you are contemplating a 20,000 barrels per day modular refinery, for instance, it depends again on the slate of products that you set out to produce. Okay. If you are building a topping plant, for instance, which is a refinery which basically produces a diesel, that's gas oil, fuel oil, kerosene, and naphtha, then you have a simpler engineering infrastructure that you require. And so it would probably take you, if you have your funding in place, about 9 months to 1 year to fabricate and bring the CDU, the Central Processing Unit, to the refinery. But if you are contemplating one that produces gasoline, in addition to other distillates, then you will be looking at a longer period. So for us, the time that we have spent has been very usefully spent making sure that we are doing this thing the right and correct way. You will remember that the stakeholders in the business are the people who finance it, in addition to the people who would license it. So you have to make sure that everybody's interest is properly taken into account, and it takes time. For instance, you would do a market study to look at the market within which you are going to operate and to see if there is a gap that you are going to be able to fill. And then you will narrow down and come to specific feasibility proposals. And we're talking about bankable feasibility proposals, not just any odd, wishy-washy write-up. And after that, of course, then you then look at who will do the planning. The front-end engineering will be done by a firm, will be paid for. And after the front-end engineering, then you look at the detailed engineering that needs to be done. And as time goes on, if you are on it for about 2 years, and a lot of variables in the environment change, then you need to go back and reappraise some of the things that you had done in the beginning, so that you are current, and you have to do it very fast, so that they don't change again, and then you have to go back and review so many times. Okay. So this is what we have been doing. Refineries don't come cheap.
In doing this, we know that it's also very important, the relationship that you have with the community where that project is situated. How has it been?
It has been very cordial.
Okay.
We started in the beginning with the recognition that we are basically in partnership with the people who live very close to us. And everything that we did, we took them along and we briefed them. And as we progressed, we are with them. And it has been very cordial so far.
Okay. And now we see that the federal government has resolved on the need for a full deregulation of the downstream petroleum sector. What's your take on this? How do you see this when you probably analyze against what it has been all along?
Well, of course, we have always said if we had regulation in place, it would be impossible almost for anybody to establish a refinery. Because if you realize that the funding for refineries comes from the private sector, and no private sector funding agency will give you money to build a refinery if at the end of the day you will not be at liberty to set parameters as to the volumes that you would refine and the price at which you will sell. So that is one of the problems that we had in the past, because people could just never find a way around it. But now that the government has finally decided to get rid of a regulated market environment, it's absolutely brilliant. Because what now counts is the efficiency of your production process, proper competition. If you are very efficient, then your costs are low, and that is how the consumers of petroleum products will benefit. Because in a deregulated environment, they are constantly and continuously jostling with one another, competing, and that continues to beat down prices till you come down to the equilibrium market price, which is the price at which if you dipped underneath it, you would absolutely come crashing. So it is to the benefit of those who will consume that you have a free market and people are at liberty to produce, show their skills in terms of the efficiencies that they can generate, and in so doing, give people good value for their money.
Okay, good. And we know very well that pricing on one side, if the price is quite favorable for the end consumer, it's fine. But what about availability? Would that also give the assurance of availability of the products?
Well, I mean, yes, it's prices and volume.
Okay, good.
So if the price is good, then people will go and bring money from other areas and bring the money into the business of producing petroleum products.
Okay.
So it's always the market that determines this thing. So if the price is good, investors will bring money in, and there will be lots of petroleum products, and so on and so forth. And that's the way it works.
I think that for the common man on the street, what can be done to help them understand better that a full deregulation of the downstream petroleum sector would be to their benefit? Because many times they have people come in to say, "Oh, we are fighting for the interest of the common man." Yet, what kind of things should be done?
What has to be done is that we continue to debate these issues publicly.
Okay.
And we continue to speak in a language that the common man understands. I did observe every morning when I wake up to read my phone that we have a section where the news is actually disseminated in pidgin English.
Okay.
So if we have radio programs, TV programs, where people can speak in a way that the common man can understand, and all the issues will be iterated there, then that's the way to go. For instance, there is the talk that, we are protecting the common man, that's why we want the prices to be dictated by governments. Now look at the anomalies that we have to deal with. Anybody who drives his car into the filling station is the only beneficiary. A man driving one car can buy 100 liters of fuel at a certain price. A Danfo bus carrying 14 people can go into the same station and buy. Is it equal when one person can take 100 liters and the other 100 liters will be for 14 people? Then also, there is no mechanism, for instance, that forces the man who has taken one full tank of petroleum products bought at a cheap rate, when he's driving along the street, does he ever stop when he sees poor people by the roadside to say, well, I am using petrol that I have actually bought cheaply, can I give you a lift? It never happens. So we really have to get away from that inefficient way of distributing resources to one where government takes the money away and can better target the welfare of the common man through programs that they can actually establish. They can create more jobs, they can build more schools, They can do so many things with that money.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, of course, is that the government does not saddle itself with a responsibility that it can so easily jettison for spending billions and billions and billions of money in the pursuit of something that really does not deliver the benefits that is intended.
How well will this address the issue of smuggling of petroleum products?
It would absolutely kill the business of smuggling, because if you liberalize the prices,
yes,
and if you take into account the fact that countries on both sides, east and west of Nigeria,
yeah, are
already buying fuel at market rates, it's only because we have a regulated regime that encourages the smuggling of petroleum products. So people will take a full tanker, drive it right next to the border, and when nobody's looking, they cross and then go and sell it. If you go to Lome, for instance,
yes,
or to Benin,
yeah,
you will see a very good example of what has been happening for so many years, where people sell petrol in clear glasses,
yes,
and it's apparent that they're selling it because they have just decanted it from a petroleum tanker that came across from Nigeria.
yeah.
So now that market will absolutely be dealt with. And so there will be no incentive for anyone now to smuggle regulated petroleum products across the border, where they make a killing in terms of the amounts that they sell it for.
Okay, I saw in the news recently about Walter Smith that they are taking off on their refinery projects. It's all done. I mean, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, we are really very pleased for the progress which has been reported in respect of Walter Smith's efforts in a big way in the Imo State. Walter Smith, I think, started about the same time or maybe a year before we did. And they have made very good progress in planning and executing their refinery project, in finding financing for it. And it is the case that in about a month's time, they would absolutely be absolutely completed, and they will be launching the refinery. We are very, very pleased with what they have done. We are proud of them. They are trailblazers, and we are hoping that quite a lot of the Nigerian refiners, more especially in a situation where deregulation has been finally decreed, there would be more Walter Smith type success stories in the near future.
That's quite encouraging. That's very encouraging.
We give them our encouragement, and ask others also who are similarly lined up to do what they have done, absolutely to stay with it. It's very good for our economy.
So, Captain Iheanacho, we thank you so much for giving us an enlightenment on a number of issues. And we do hope that very soon, as you said, the Modular Refinery Project will be completed, and it will be an addition for end users to have petroleum products and at good price too.
Yeah, take it from me.
Yes.
We are absolutely focused on what we're doing. We're systematically following everything that needs to be done.
No.
So at the end of the day, if you go to an investor and say, can you give me some money to build my refinery? He will ask you a number of questions. Don't ask those questions. Here they are.
Good.
Yeah, but if you didn't do that, you can rush all the way, and then you get to the top, and then you start looking around for money, and then they ask you questions and say, can you do this? You say, no, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Wow.
So we're taking our time, and we really are thankful to our community, the authorities who certify us, for the help and support that we have gotten from them. We are really very pleased, and we are making progress, and we thank God for everything.
Thank you, viewers, for being with us on the program CEOs Talk Business at the Marina Today. We wish that you're going to follow us when we come back on the program next time. Thank you.